The Arizona Department of Revenue presents a tutorial, finding the correct transaction privilege tax rate. It can be very confusing for a business owner to figure out the correct rate of tax applicable to a transaction. This tutorial will define the factors that impact the tax rate and help you to determine the correct rate applicable to transactions. Information that is necessary to calculate the correct tax rate can be found on the transaction privilege and other tax rate tables. The rate tables are updated when rate changes occur. It's important to check the Arizona Department of Revenue website periodically for the most recent version of the tax rate tables to be sure you are using the correct rates. The tax rate applicable to a transaction depends on the combined total of the state, county, and city transaction privilege tax for the business code that the business is operating under. The business code corresponds to the description of the business. Here is an example of Table 1 of the Transaction Privilege Tax Rate Tables. Table 1 displays the combined state and county tax rates. On the left is a column listing all the business codes by business code number and taxable activity. The tax rates for those business codes are listed under the columns by county. Counties are listed in alphabetical order from left to right, but not all counties have a separate column. If the county you are looking for is not listed by name, use the All Other Counties column to find the rates you need. Let's use Table 1 to look up the combined state and county tax rate. What is the state and county rate of tax for a business operating in the amusement classification in Pima County? The combined rate of transaction privilege tax for the state and the county would be found at the intersection of the amusement row and the Pima County column. For this example, the state and county rate would be 6.1%. Here's one more example to try. This time we need to find the combined state and county rate of tax for a business operating as a retailer in Apache County. You may recall that if the county isn't separately listed, use the All Other Counties column to find the rate. In this case, the rate would be found at the intersection of the retail row and the All Other Counties column. The state and county rate together would be 6.1%. Table 2 of the rate tables contains a list of all the city privilege tax rates and the city codes for those cities that impose transaction privilege tax. Where the tax base for the city is the same as the state, the city business code will be the same as the state business code. Where the city tax base is different than the state, the city business code may vary from the state business code. Table 2 of the rate table displays the cities that impose transaction privilege tax in alphabetical order. The table shows the region code, the business codes, and the applicable tax rates for each city. The county the city is located in is also shown. Additional tax means that businesses operating in a business code with a specific additional tax displayed will have to report gross receipts under both the applicable business code and the additional tax business code for the city. For example, hotels and motels in Benson would report gross receipts under both business code 044 and 144 for a total of 5.50% city tax. Cities may also have a tiered tax. Businesses operating in a business code may have different percentages of tax applicable to a transaction or a portion of a transaction depending on the dollar amount of the total transaction or perhaps the cost of a single item. For example, retail businesses in Benson would report gross receipts under either business code 017 or 717 depending on the cost of a single item sold. The city rate of tax is lower in Benson for a single item sold costing more than $5,000. The total combined transaction privilege tax rate equals the state plus the county plus the city rates. The combined state and county rates are shown on Table 1 of the Transaction Privilege Tax Rate Table. City tax rates are shown on Table 2 of the Transaction Privilege Tax Rate Tables. Example 1. What rate of tax is applicable to a $200 retail transaction in Casa Grande? City TPT information from Table 2 shows that the region code of Casa Grande is CG. The business code of 017 would be used for any retail transactions of items below $5,000. The city tax rate for business code 017 is 2%. Also, Casa Grande is located in Pinal County. The combined state and county tax rate can be found at the intersection of the retail row and the Pinal County column. The rate is 6.7%. The city rate was 2%, the combined state and county rate was 6.7%. The total combined rate of tax for a $200 retail transaction in Casa Grande is 8.7%. For example 2, a hotel manager in Lake Havasu City needs to find the correct rate of transaction privilege tax that needs to be paid on a $200 hotel stay. The city TPT information from Table 2 shows the region code LH is used to report the city transactions. The business code of 044 would be used to report hotel gross receipts, in addition to code 144 as hotel motel additional tax. The total city tax rate for hotel businesses is 5%. Also, Lake Havasu City is located in Mojave County. The combined state and county rate of tax can be found on Table 1 at the intersection of the transient lodging row and the Mojave County column. The rate is 5.78%. The city rate equals 5%. The state and county rate for Mojave County equals 5.78. The total combined rate of tax for a hotel stay in Lake Havasu City is 10.78%. In review, here are some important things to remember. Always be sure to use the most current versions of the transaction privilege tax rate tables. Select the correct business code and tax rate for the business you are operating. Be sure to select all the correct city rate options that apply to the type of business you are doing, including any additional tax rates or tiered tax rates. This concludes the tutorial on finding the correct transaction privilege tax rate. More information on this and other topics is available on the Arizona Department of Revenue websites at www.azdor.gov and www.aztaxes.gov.